Yes. Well, hello there. Welcome to the Hope Dealer 1177 channel, where I am Rick, and you are you. You're the lovely, wonderful, beautiful collective. You know, in this installment, we are going to talk about mindset. You know, I've been reflecting on this for a week or two. Not hardcore, but just on my own personal time. And so, dude, my nephews, I'm telling you, they got like something busted up here. Like, I don't know. Anyway, I think this is where this seed was planted, okay? Or when and where. I was up at my grandmother's. Like I said, I spent a lot of time there, and I think at this point, I might have been 13, 14, no, maybe a little younger, maybe a little older. I think I was younger, actually. I think he told me this when I was at the end of elementary. Something like that. Although chronologically this wasn't that long before 1996. Like, for me it feels relatively like close. But see, I was having issues at the age of 13, 14. So I don't know what exactly was going on in my life. I forget exactly. And my uncle Dale, rest in peace, he was a person who was through some things. I don't know his story exactly like that or anything. I can only recall like my interactions with him and what I know firsthand. But, he was in and out of jail, raising hell and all that. I once again, I don't know details. But when he got out, he was working for my grandmother's husband's roofing crew, Shadle's Roofing or something like that. And it was either after they were done working or it was on the weekend. And because like the guys would they would meet there and then go leave out wherever to Harrisburg or wherever the job was. And then, they'd all come back, get in their vehicles and go, whatever. But he said to me, he goes, I remember this, it stuck with me my whole life. He was saying, he goes, no matter what, he goes, don't give up. He goes, it's got to get better. It's going to, it's going to get better. It's got to get better at some point. Like, if this is the worst it's going to get, he's like, it's going to get better. Something like that, right? Man, for a kid, I don't know why, there's a reason why that stuck with me, but it was the beginning of all this. And when I really put it into effect was when I got back from the Navy. Look, I should have never went when I went because I wasn't ready yet. But once again, when it came to like parenting and stuff, there wasn't good anything in a sense, like, because I look back on it and like if I had a kid that was going off to the Navy but only recently like didn't even have a year clean from heroin, like I wouldn't have told my son to go or encouraged that at all. Like, but see, there was never really any relationships, like no sitting and talking, no sharing of ideas or, like, especially with my father. My mom's a little bit different for obvious reasons, covert, but him, there's nothing, really. But yeah, so when I got back from the Navy, like, like I ran from the Navy, I was UA, I went back. They were trying to put me back into training, and I was like, nah. And it wasn't that like I was having. It's a long story. And I don't want to get into it, but and then I took off again, twice, dude. Left Great Lakes and came back to PA. And then finally, when I got discharged, went through separations and stuff. So, you know, like officially, like I was never in the Navy because I never got out of training. But and now I believe my discharge is like a general, but it was other than honorable. But yeah, I wasn't ready, man. Like now, with the experience and knowledge I have of recovery right now, like there's no way I wouldn't even tell an adult. Like, well, I was an adult. I was 19 or I was 18 when I left. I turned 19 while I was in training. I went in the wintertime. And it was tough, man. It was tough for a couple years. I had a lot of like shame, burden, like, you know what I mean? Like I left my country down, my family down, like this, that, and other. But I was like one of the first things I said to myself was, it wasn't supposed to be. It wasn't meant to happen. And I remember I was on the couch watching TV, watching the news, and it was when before this golf stuff started picking up again. We're talking around. I think yeah, that's right. It was before 9/11, 2001. I was out. I kind of got home like in June or July or May or June. But there was a ship attacked. Some little boat had explosives over in Yemen. I forget the name of the ship, but this is leading up to September 11th, you know. But I remember when that happened, I was like, man, I could have been on that ship. You know what I mean? I could have been one of the casualties. I'm like, there's a purpose and a reason that this did not happen. And then throughout my life, you know, like, I don't know, man. I just never gave up on myself, and I still don't. You know what I mean? Like, that's how I got recovery, was by not giving up. And let me tell you, when you keep trying to, you know, stay sober over and over, that can wear you down. That can beat you down, I'm telling you. It can get people to the point where they never try again. They're like, oh, well, I tried, that's it, I can't do it. Give up too easy. But like when you know where it's going to take you is jails, institutions, and death, and you've witnessed these things in your life, like, I was determined, you know. But so many things, you know, like I was already like doing this, and like, like I've been working on myself big time this past year, working on fine tuning these things, you know. But I could even go back to last year, and it was like, see, this is what it makes me chuckle. Like, me leaving this situation, and like I'm saying, like, it's only the truth. Like, I don't even consider the 2 months that me and her dated in 2023 as even dating. So 2021. But I could see that this is just, it was just something that was just cyclical. It you know what I mean? And now we're in recovery, and she's still doing it. Also, not putting effort into recovery, this, that, and the other. Like, you know? Then when we had take-homes, oh, no more meetings? Okay. Like, how are you going to maintain, like, your recovery? You're just going to take methadone and not actually, like, change on the inside, like, get to the crux of the problem of why you are using and what's, you know, et cetera, et cetera. And Because nobody in this family detaches and leaves situations that don't serve them. If they do leave a situation, they already have somebody lined up. And men and women, but mainly the women, there's more women. And something about me leaving this long-term relationship, like, because I told them, I'm like, look, I can look at y'all's relationship and see where this ends up at, or like I can look at other people's. Like, I don't want to be in that situation. Like, I was like, I had, like, you know what I mean? I had enough, man. Like, this person's going to show me nothing different. But I know that there's more out there for me. Like, I deserve way better than what I was getting in that. And so the more I kept breaking away from chains, these generational things, you know, like, the more power you get back. Like, each little decision where you're saying no to somebody who doesn't care or it's not serving you. And I'm telling you, as an empath and as someone who was raised to be codependent, it's hard. It's tricky, you know what I mean? But, like, you start doing these things because, I mean, like, I just like to help people, you know? Like, that's a combination of who I am and, you know, influence from Christianity, the Bible, you know. I mean, honestly, like, my first, like, maybe 3 months or something, like, I didn't really go to church. I remember just reading the Bible, because that's what I was instructed to do. Read the Gospels and then just go to the back and, you know, take it from there. I haven't read the whole Bible, but I've read a lot of it. You know what I mean? Like, reading it from back to, like, dude, there's a lot of books in there, like Numbers and Deuteronomy, and it's just like, but, you know, when you have, like, another key thing is identity. I got that out of a book somewhere dealing with maybe addiction or something, right? And it started clicking. Like, it's like, if you know like, you identify however you identify, but, like, and once you, like, you know, like, this is who I am, like, on the inside and outside, like, there's something about it. When you are solid in your identity, people can't shake that. Whether that be, like, low vibrational energies, like devil energy, those type of things, people, places, things. And I'm telling you, like, yeah, I could be in a different situation, in an apartment, like, in town, da-da-da-da-da-da, but, like, I'm telling you, man, it was goofy. And even as a roommate, this shit was goofy. Like, there's details I can't get into because it just will take too much time and explaining, but, you know, there was things where I'm like, are you seriously, like, doing this right now? Like, I don't want to be with you. Like, I can't get into it. But what I'm saying here, though, is it's funny when people think they, like, know you without talking to you, like, conversations and doing, like, just anything. I mean, I've experienced that hardcore this past year, a couple of years, like people just assuming, like, they know, like, little did you know, I was in the laboratory working on myself before I ever left. Get out of here. You know, I mean, working on myself, like, because I was like, man, like, I'm, you know, getting older. I was like, dude, I didn't get into recovery to live like this with someone who still is not keeping up their end. Never did. And, like, and that, for my situation with that person, never will. you know? Sleep all day, sleep all night, like don't want to do nothing. Oh, then when you go outside and walk around, like the phone's in their face, like walking into signs. Like, you can't put the damn phone down? I'm telling you, man, toxicity, toxicity, toxicity. But that started triggering these folks. And then I became, well, I already was, like my whole, but like the target. Because I started shaking things up. No, I didn't go after people or anything. I kept to myself, working on myself. And that's what I'm saying is like, but see, the one person who would stop by or knew what was going on a little bit, my mom, oh, so she's the one who took the information back into the house. My mom loves to blah, 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 gossip, gossip, blah, 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 lie, 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 lie. And that's why I don't talk to her too much, because it's ridiculous. You know, and there's something to that. There's something to someone who keeps trying to get you to say the wrong thing or respond the wrong way or, you know, like accept their false reality, which is lies. It's spellcraft, witchcraft. Someone coming at you speaking jibber jabber, lies, 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 lies. I'm telling you, quadrupling down on lies in like 30 seconds. Like, you're crazy. I was there. I heard what you said. And I remember what you said. These are behaviors of narcissists. But yeah, man, you gotta like mindset, man. I mean, like, and that's where they first get you. And I'm not trying to turn this into talk about narcissism, but it is a big thing of my story. And you know, the more I kept peeling back the layers of the onion, the more I kept, you know, like past events or behaviors, and I started seeing this like a lot. But it's the mindset of like, I can achieve this one way or another. Also, where I also was implementing and learning about this for years and years and years. And this was just training, you know, for what is next. Because we're always being prepared for what's next. But it's up to us to make the right decisions, right? Like the universe, God, higher power, whatever you believe in, could be guiding you in a direction, preparing you, training you, whatever it may be. But you could say, I'm not going to go that way and go this way. See, this is why the energy changes and stuff. You know, like when doing like tarot readings and stuff, people have free will. You know, it's however they decide. Then guess what? Energy changes a little bit, depending on what it is. You know, the severity of actions of, you know, what the actions taken and the severity and how large of what we're talking about here. It could be little things, you know, and it's just a little, you know, shift, adjustment. Something huge, well, that's going to be even larger. Man, these kids got weird things here. Okay. Oh, hiking. When you're doing long distance hiking, like whether it's through hiking or long distance, the short ones, the short trips, overnights, weekends, you don't have to really apply this, but I mean, you have to evaluate all your gear. And like, you know, you buy a backpack brand new, well, guess what? You don't have to keep it that way. I mean, a lot of people won't do this, but it's because they don't understand the concept and they don't do long distance. But how they put it, ounces equal pounds, pounds equal pain. So everything needs to make sure that the weight that it is and that you're carrying it, you know, equals out. Like, you can modify these backpacks. You can trim the fat, as we call it, you know, shortening straps. Like, you don't need these big, long straps that, like, you're not gonna get fat on the trail. You're gonna lose weight. So you don't need all this extra, webbing. Like, whatever have you. Like, there's people that cut their toothbrushes or drill holes in the toothbrush handle. I mean, all kinds of things. And there's all kinds of ideas, but it's about being creative, like thinking about these things and how can I get the most, like how many usages, or like a multi-tool, but not saying carrying that, but like there's many things that you can serve many purposes with, right? You don't need a whole mess kit. All you need is like really one pot. I personally like the 2-pot. It was like snow titanium. One was a little bit smaller, which I made my coffee in. And the other one was for the food. I ate the food out of the thing. That's all I carry. You know what I mean? And like a plastic spork. You know what I mean? Like, but it's mindset. You gotta like focus on what you're doing, what your objective is, and like looking at it from all angles. And I try to look at life like that in everything, especially when dealing with people. I take a lot into consideration, man. With the people I have gotten close to, whether it be family, friends, or romantic things, or whatever, work, like jobs, like customer service, like, or if you work in like, healthcare or something, looking at things from the eyes of the patient. How would you like to be treated? I wonder if it was you that was on the bed there, or what have you. Because I did do a lot of work in group homes for adults that have developmental disabilities or mentally retarded. And I treated those guys like they were my kids. I don't have no kids, but like I treated them like if they were my kids, because really, that's the mentality that they're on, But they were all great people, and I enjoyed and appreciated them. And I worked in difficult what they called difficult, but I didn't find it to be difficult. You know what I mean? Like, I had a great time in those 2 houses. And fond memories, man. Very fond memories. Unfortunately, some of those guys are long gone now. But yeah, those guys, man, I don't know, like, people that work in that field, like, there's good people, yeah, there is bad people that slip through, man. I seen it firsthand, man. I had to report the guy that trained me when I first started. Dude, I called him pushing a nonverbal. Like, he slammed him into his recliner, and the guy was naked, man. Like, he just got his shower, and the guy was there in his room to, give him prompts to dress, help him if he needs any help. Yeah, dude, and just, he put his hand in the guy's chest and just was like, boom. And I was like, what? Like, dude, like, told the house manager, did a report. And this guy that did this, he had like, no, not Parkinson's, Lou Gehrig's or something. Like, he drug his leg, like a limp. Like, he had some issues. Oh, here he is slamming around the nonverbal guy that can't talk. So he can't say nothing to tell them that this guy's abusing him. Luckily, I seen it. And I seen other people whack out in those places. 2 guys. But, in some cultures, people with developmental disabilities are considered like gods. They're special. They see things that you and I don't see. So, this is what life's about, man. Think about how you treat people, even the least of people, the homeless people, right? The people with mental retardation or developmental disabilities. That's a reflection of you on the inside. Someone that sees people in like lower situations, or like, they're vulnerable and in situations that make them kind of, I don't use the word weak, but something like that, vulnerable. Dude, I mean, like, what's going on inside of your heart and soul that you do this to someone that can't even fight back or even say anything? How about that? Same situation kind of with me here. Is I came out here, to piece things together, but really, I shouldn't. This should not have happened. But somebody went and got a camper and placed it out here strategically. Strategically, this camper was put here for me to get stuck. Like it was going to be like a little battery pack for, oh, let's go and drain energy, right? Oh, let's dump off our bullshit karma, right? I caught on that real fast. Like I was learning real fast about this stuff, you know what I mean? I was eating it up and applying it to my life because, you know what I mean, like things were pretty wild. You know, when you hit, for me, it was a second awakening. I mean, we got lots of them, but like I had two large ones. And this second one, man, was quite the doozy. But, yeah, all throughout my life, man, I helped lots of people. Didn't ask nothing in return. But then the times, though, when I did ask for things in return, like gas money and stuff, dude, I'm telling you, you gotta watch people, man. There are people out there, like this one guy, dude, this guy been telling people for the last, like, 8 years or something, he's dying. You know, like, and I remember, like, early on, like, I think they got wise to it finally, but, in the beginning, the first, like, let's say 4 years or something, and, you know, manipulating people at AA. Like, yeah, you look like shit and you're dying, but you don't have cancer. Well, he ended up eventually, I mean, because, I mean, when you smoke, like, 100 cigarettes a day, yeah, amongst other things, but yeah, I remember sitting back and watching this, and I'm like, you guys know him. You know what he's about. But until he shows, like, papers or record, like, something saying that, like, man. And then I remember, like, I'm like, see what happened? I thought you were dying. I thought you were on your deathbed. You only had, like, a month or two or whatever you were saying. Manipulation. Dude, people were driving him around. This is a guy that doesn't drive, doesn't really own anything. Not saying that that's necessary, don't get me wrong, but what I'm saying is he needs other people to help him to live. Dude lives in a high-rise now. But he is unappreciative of the people that help him. He'll act like that to your face, but as soon as you leave his door, he's talking shit, you know what I mean? Like, trust me, I witnessed it firsthand. When people would visit him and they leave, and then he'd be like, you know, like, a narcissist. He's a narcissist, man. Nasty to his girlfriend. Nasty to his friends. Nasty to his kids. But yeah. Oh, I'm dying. So people would take him out to eat, drive him all around. Everything was on the house. Oh, I remember then seeing, like, you know, a couple of years later, people were like, not really, like a couple of these people that really, like, took him under their wing. Yeah, they were at a distance with him then. Not really one. And I was like, see, these are the games people play, man. Like, this is someone I was friends with for a long time. This is the person that took me to my first AA meeting. You know, one of the things that always, like, made me, like, scratch my head with this individual was he just stopped drinking, right? But it's because he was seeing this lady, right? And she was in recovery and going, like, all the time. And I remember, like, I'd be there drinking. And I said, dude, where are you going? Like, where do you keep going in the middle of the day? We just hung out a lot, you know, we were alcoholics. Oh, I'm going to AA, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, but, like, you'd think if you wanted to stop drinking, like, you wouldn't have someone in your house drinking. And he was cool with it. It wasn't like I was, like, disrespecting him or nothing. He was all good with it. Is that someone that really wants to stop drinking? That was a long time ago, but well, I'm just saying though, these are the things, you pick up on when people show you who they are. Take them, and they'll show you usually through actions, whether that's blah 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 blah, or you watch them do something goofy, or you see something. I'm telling you, but it's so important to, cultivate the garden inside you. That way you master your emotions, your thinking, etc., etc. That doesn't mean life ain't gonna happen or something, but like, you gotta watch the people when you stand up for yourself and you set boundaries. And these narcissists get triggered on this because they realize they're losing their manipulation and control over you, and they'll get really wild sometimes. And sometimes they just run and disappear. You never hear from them again, or you do, but they're still trying to get you in that that chaser, runner, or all these weird manipulations stuff that they do. See, once you heal though, they can't play on those wounds, and that's what they do. Like, these people will get close to you, learn what your weaknesses are, and then start, sticking a knife in there. But like, you're like, what the, like, I don't know, man. I'm telling you, you just gotta like use your intuition and feel it. Like, you'll feel it, dude, like in your aura and body. Like, do they say what they do and do what they say? And do they mean what they say and say what they mean? Those things right there, watch, people. I'm telling you. I started developing that little thing when I was still, I was like fairly, I was doing meth maybe for like 6 months at that point or something, and I was like, dude, these people are fishy as hell, dude. Like, you know what I mean? And everyone's a little funny on it, but see, some people get really funny. We all do, but I'm telling you, there's people that get really funny. And here's a fun fact that is 100% truth. The more and more we kept using and all this stuff, like when this stuff really got wild years ago in this area, the more and more people were using, and the shadow people thing, right? Dude, I never seen shadow people, but everyone around me would be like talking about this stuff, and I'm like, it's people. Because I would tell people, drink water, Powerade or whatever, eat when you can, and get sleep when you can, when you get tired. But see, they don't brush their teeth. They aren't calcium. Calcium calcifies your pineal gland. So when you aren't getting calcium in, which, like, kind of hibernates that pineal gland, which is your third eye, these people start seeing things. And yeah, I believe the shadow people are real things. There's some dark entities out there, dark energies. But I was protected then, and I knew something was up then. I was like, dude, like, why is it that all these people are seeing this stuff? But I knew there was something special, about me then. But I always kind of did, But like, there would just be some real big moments where things just did not, like I was like, dude, like, I'm not saying like at the end, like, there was some activities that weren't the best, but majority of my using career, dude, like, I wasn't out to do people dirty and robbing and stealing and all kinds of stuff, you know what I mean? Anywho, we're going to leave it on that. It's kind of a weird note to leave it on, but I feel like this is a good spot to stop. Seek recovery. I'm telling you guys, especially if you're sensitive, you're an empath, You know, like you're in situations, because see, the more you take back your life, making these smaller decisions, which lead to bigger decisions, you know what I mean? Like, baby steps are okay. You know, like what about Bob, that movie? Baby steps on the bus, baby steps on the bus. The birds agree. Confirmation. So, as long as you keep making forward movement, sometimes it is just a little step. And sometimes you're trucking along. You know, depends on the conditions, right? It's kind of like driving, right? If it's pouring rain and stuff, you're not going to be hammering down around turns and stuff. So anyway, I hope you guys are blessed. Have a great evening, morning, afternoon, etc.